Hey friends, welcome back. I have a birthday haul. So, my birthday is in like 3 days. I'm not saying how, cause anyway, I have several things I have something from Amazon, stuff from my local Dollar Tree, stuff from Kohl's, Hobby Lobby. That's kind of all over the place. So, the first thing I'm gonna show you is this. These were, give or take a quarter, $20. And you might say, oh, that's a lot, but they're from Happy Dotting Center. I know the lady that made these, they came from her shop. She is a well-known YouTuber, and she just primarily focuses on dotting art, like this. Just something I'm almost done with. Isn't that amazing? We'll talk more about this because it involves some of the things I bought. Isn't that amazing? But this is not for this type of. It can be, but it's for the surfaces that aren't level. Like I don't. Let me grab a glass. This is what this is for. That's why it's like that. Isn't that amazing? And it's also for like the mold ones that you can make a mold of. They're for that too. But they're also for this. Because I like to do things like this, and the plastic ones don't, even the paper ones don't fit right. These are made to fit on surfaces like this that are curved and stuff. You just tape it on like that, and there you go. Isn't that amazing? So I got 2 sizes just because. But yeah, go check her out on Etsy. Sorry, she's fabulous, and her YouTube channel is pretty good. If you're into that sort of thing, she's pretty good. Set that aside, and I'm gonna show you my Dollar Tree stuff. Ta-da! And I brought my receipt because, well, I don't know, because it used to be stuff was like $1, but when they raise their prices, and they have some items that are like $3 or $4 or whatever, but they're nicer items, to be fair. They also their stock got a lot less cheapy. Like they were able to get a lot more things that to me were more worth getting. So the first thing I got was this lace crochet, and I got this because I wanted to do a project I saw on YouTube. This lady made this vase, and she said that she did this vase and she painted it over, but she cut out these lace pieces and glued them onto the vase and then painted over them and whatnot, and I was like, ooh. So this is one of the ones I found at the dollar store. So I got this. I love these things. I have another one that's similar to this. It's really nice. The only thing is, it is very thin. So if you go to the Dollar Tree and you get something that's either canvas, I wouldn't recommend their canvas boards, by the way. Unless you're just practicing and playing around, they warp super easy. These ones will too. So the way you can work around that is to paint the back side of it whatever you want and seal it, or put a little resin on it. I don't know how to mess with resin, honestly. I'm looking into tutorials about that. I haven't had the courage to try and use it yet, but you could do that, and that might help a little bit. You can also like throw some water over it, and then just a light layer of water and let it set too. That might help sort of strengthen that, but that's just something to be aware of. Isn't that cute though? I love that. For like $1.25, I believe, as most things are now. I was like, yeah, that'll work. Now, as you see, I had lots of stickers. So, the reason why I have all these amazing stickers is I like to do things here. I used stickers like these for this. Ta-da. These are from the dollar store. This is a yogurt cup. By the way, I did a video around Christmas time, which is why this is the red that it is. I did a video on all about how to make this. I think it's like an hour long, but I can't do voiceover stuff, so unfortunately it's an issue I'm working on. But I did do a video. Please check that out. It's actually really easy and fun, but I used these. And I did not see those silver ones, which I have been looking for ever since. I even tried to find them on Amazon. Like, I looked up this brand on Amazon, still couldn't find them. They're absolutely stunning. But not bad for, aren't those pretty? I mean, look at that. For $1.25. These are absolutely gorgeous. I love these. They're so pretty. So, you just, and they can be used for a multitude of things. If you need something to just go on all at once, like I did on that votive holder that I made, instead of putting them on one by one, these come off in strips, which you can cut off as you need. So that's just something to consider. Now I got these because A, I love stickers, and B, I was thinking about, aren't those pretty though? I mean, the thing I got them for though was not how pretty they are, but I wanted to try and see if I could put them on something and paint over it and see how, because they're so puffy, I wanted to see how that they would sort of show up, and then just kind of paint over them. So that's why I got those, but $1.25 each. I mean, come on. Even for the price increase, it's still pretty decent. All right. The other things are some stencils, and I have a whole drawer full of stencils because, y'all, I cannot draw for squat. My drawing skills, as you have noticed, there's none of that because my drawing skills are, they need a lot of work. So, what I will do though is I will sometimes take a stencil, a simple stencil, or maybe one that's a little more complicated, and then I'll trace that and I'll elaborate on it, and to the point where you really can't tell it was a stencil. But it gives me a basic starting point to work from. So if that's an issue for you, the lack of drawing skills, and you're just really not that interested in it, I am to a point, because in watercolor you need to be able to sort of map things out. So I'm kind of learning, but if it's not your cup of tea at all, take a stencil, just trace it with a light pencil, use a kneaded eraser like this to get the majority of the pencil stuff off, and it will give you a starting point to work from. And I mean, these are so cute, are they not? Like, I absolutely love these. They're really cute. Blessed, believe, kind of spiritual, really nice. I mean, $1.25 each, guys. And I looked at these and I thought, this could be really interesting if I'm trying to make like a collage of pictures of people. So I thought that was worth getting. And last but not least, this. Now, I have a humongous version of this. It's like this much bigger. But I could not find one that was small like this. And of all places, the dollar store. I was like, really? So this is really great if you want to do. And you can also just, trace them if you want to. Trace the whole thing and use it as a stencil. Or you can just paint it, whichever, But that's really cute. The Dollar Tree. My local Dollar Tree is fabulous, guys. I absolutely love my local Dollar Tree. The Amazon stuff. Oh, the first thing I'm going to show you, let's put this out of the way. I printed these out because I wanted you guys to see. This is how one of the images from the website. You have the tall one and then a shorter one. And it says they're 2 ounces and 1 ounce, respectively. The smaller one's at 1.18 of an inch, and this is the same. Oh, like across. Okay. Yeah. And then lengthways, it says 5.51 for this one and 3.6 for the smaller one. I thought you guys would like that. It's a 5-piece set of 1 ounce and a 5-piece of 2 ounce bottles. Now the fun thing about these are actually, let me show you the actual bottles. These are actually for like cake writers when you're doing like cakes and stuff. But there was a YouTuber, I would shout her out, but I don't remember which YouTuber. It was not one I watch all the time, like maybe once in a while. But either way, she was doing oh gosh, hello. So one thing you're gonna be careful with these. Sometimes if your lid is not on good, you see what happens? I'll fix that later. But yeah, be careful. They can leak a little bit, as you just saw. So, I mean, this one has it, but you have to really make sure that this is firmly on. You see that little inside piece? You have to make sure that it's firmly put on like that, or it will leak. So, this is what they look like. And I used these to put some of the dots on this. The only thing is you have to make sure that your consistency is a little bit on the thick side, or it's just going to come gushing out. So just make sure that it's not super runny. And I have a whole nother video planned for all about that. It's a whole nother video. But I used this to make the dots, these dots right here. The ones I'm kind of pointing to, I used one of these. And one of the bigger ones. Oh, see, it's leaking. Oh gosh, you guys really do need to be careful. Look at that. So that might be a downfall here, downside to these. They apparently do leak a little bit. So just be careful. I'd still recommend them, but what I would do if I were you is if you actually put paint in these, store them upright, and don't put them in such a way, store them in such a way that they get tossed all over the place. The paint did stay inside the lid. It didn't like leak outside the bottle, but you are going to end up wasting paint inside the lid. This is what the box comes like. And you can see it's great for cake decorating, oil, ink, paints. See, it does mention that. I don't have enough subs to do an Amazon link yet. I think I have to get like about 500 more. So if you like my videos, please like and subscribe. It will, and share if you really, really like it. But that's kind of what the box looks like. And I believe these are the rest of them. I love this, by the way. Anyway, these are the rest of them, and they come in different colors, so I guess, I don't know why, but they do. And that's what they look like when they're unfilled. Oh, now this one, for some reason, is not leaked, and I think that's because I made this one really thick. Thicker than the other two. Here. Oh, this might not show up. It's on white. Jeez. All right. But you see how thick that's coming out versus how thick this is coming out? See how much quicker it came out? It's kind of close, but this one's just a little bit thicker. And like I said, I'm going to be doing a whole video on using these. But that's what they look like when they come out. And you can just dot your... They're pretty fantastic. Just, as I said, be careful about the lids and stuff. So, I'm going to set those aside. And that white one, that's exactly... The white one was exactly what I used to make the white dots with. It gives you... Using those bottles gives you so much more precision. you can use, you know, your tools. There's various ways. I used a skewer, a wooden skewer that I made sure was clean and sharpened to a nice sharp point, and I used that paint coated skewer to, like, for kebabs and stuff. I used that to make those little tiny dots right there. And it works. You don't necessarily need dotting tools. You can use Q-tips, pencil. I've seen people use ends of pencil erasers. I mean, I do have official dotting tools, but I paid, oh, for the bottles, I also paid roughly, they're like $9. So I would highly consider checking that out. Now, this is another thing that I got. I got a couple of these because I use them all the time. These are really great if you have trouble seeing, and the picture shows you right here. Ta-da! See? You put them on over your glasses. And I, even with my prescription, which needs to be renewed, it magnifies it like 2 times magnification, and it says plus 4.0. So I'm not sure exactly what that means, but you can flip them up. It has a flip up hinge, which is really great. I think it was like $10, $12. I don't know, something like that. It's not much at all. So if you need something that's convenient and you can take pretty much anywhere, I would highly recommend that. Oh, here, back here it says the 4.0 is equivalent to 2 times magnification. Okay, I see what that is. They just said it 2 different ways. Got it. I highly recommend these. Seriously, they're really, really, really good. Especially if you're older like me and have terrible eyesight. These are essential. I could not do this without these. There's no way. There's no way. You're gonna say, why is she showing me Q-tips? The reason being, I paid like I don't know, it was $10 for all of these. And you see how much is here, right? And the bags are reusable too. Like there's 800 of them, but this will last me forever. These are amazing, guys. Like, I gotta open one of these and show you. And they're all individually packaged, so I divide them up between upstairs and downstairs. These are amazing. These can also be used for dotting work. They can be used for when you need to clean up tiny little errors. Like when I was doing this, I can't tell you the number of these that I went through when I would like mess up here, which is still needs to be fixed up a little. When I made a mistake, I would take the tip of this, make sure it was a clean one, and just kind of go like that, and then do the other end and just kind of clean it up like that. It's really great for doing things like that when you have a tiny area that you need to like clean up when you're painting. Detail work. there is 1,000,001 ways to use these. You can get them at like Walmart. I've seen them, but I just 800 pieces for about $10 ish. I don't know, something like that. 100 of them. You know, so that's why I included these, because I use them a lot. Okay. I got these. These are the last of my Amazon purchases. I absolutely love these. They were roughly $10 for 4 of them, if I'm not mistaken. Not expensive at all. They are amazing, you guys. And this is another thing that same daughter, I did these with, not only with that other one, the empty one that had the silver in it, but I also used these. I used this one for the top layer. Well, that's why it's black. And then the other one was the bottom layer with the silver and the empty one that I got from Hustle from Amazon. Me and the Amazon guy are probably on a first name basis. But these, look how stiff this is, you guys. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, do you see the pinks in that? It's crazy. Where's my paper? Here. I gotta push these aside. But look at all these pretty colors. I mean, these are absolutely gorgeous. It's how amazing these are. I haven't opened all of them, but this is one I used a lot of. You gotta squeeze pretty hard too. And sometimes, oh, that's one thing with these, sometimes they will become blocked. And all you have to do is get like a safety pin, which I don't have on me right now, and stick the thin sharp end of the safety pin down this, and it will unclog that. So this one's gotten a little bit clogged, as you can tell. I squeezed and nothing happened. So that's an easy fix, or a needle, but I'd recommend a safety pin, a small safety pin. Look how thick that is. That ain't going nowhere. Look at that. I'm shaking it. And look, that's not going, it's spread maybe a little, but not very much. Look how thick that is. It's crazy. The tiny areas. These are called liquid pearls. Let's see, silver. This is silver, yeah. And I don't. I think it says Manger on here. That might be the name. Let's see. Yeah, that's the name of the company. Oh gosh. There. Ta-da! There we go. These are amazing, guys. I'm telling you. I could not believe how that came out, how thick that came out. That is crazy. Compared to like this from Folk Art. Look at that. This is pretty thick, but you see it's a little bit runnier. And like this one, I need to thicken up even more. This one's actually way too runny, but it's still not too bad. That one will not produce a puffy paint. It will sort of flatten out some. I gotta thicken it up just a little bit, but these are good at that consistency. If you're doing like a base layer and you want to just build, I would start with something a little bit thin like that, go to something a little bit thicker like that, and then top it off with that. These are absolutely amazing. The Michaels stuff. And I'm going to pull some of these out. Now, as you can see, there's a little, like, stealing tag, I call them. There are other Poscas are behind the counter. They say it's because they're moving stuff around, but we all know it's because people are stealing stuff right and left for various reasons. Some because they need to, some because they have drug habits. That's a lot of it. Some because they're just, I don't know, entitled, whatever. Either way, they're behind the counter, but I think I paid like $27 for all of these, and I love these because if you see how fine the tip is, I use these a lot. And they're really nice for when you're coloring pictures, and like say you've colored the picture, right? And it's in a coloring book, obviously, or even if it's something you've printed out for a PDF, you take your Posca pen, one that's pointed, it's I think it's a 0.7 mm, okay, and you find the closest color match that you can and outline with one of these, And if you need to go over the line to make it a little more similar, just wait till it's dry. It dries pretty fast. Wait till it's dry, and then you can go over it. They're water-based. They're absolutely amazing. They will explode on you, though, if you, especially if you don't prime them properly. I would take one of these and prime it dab it on like a piece of paper first. That can cut down on incidences like that, but they have been known to explode. And I had one explode all over one of my pictures once, and I was nearly done, and I was doing the finishing touches we just mentioned, and it almost ruined my picture. I was just about in tears. I was like, oh my God. So just be careful. Word of caution there. All right. So the other thing is these were on sale, and I've already taken, I think I've taken one out. No, I didn't. Okay. And look, these were on clearance, guys. I think they were on clearance for like $10. Yeah, it was like $11 or something. Yeah, they were, I don't know, they were originally like 20. And well, it's Dowler and Brownie, which is, you know, it's definitely a budget brand. Some of their stuff is actually pretty nice. It's not bad. You just have to be choosy. But their inks and their watercolor are actually not too bad. I can't speak to the rest of their products. Well, what is this? Okay. Ink pouring medium. Oh, wow. Let's see, medium pour. Oh, it's in French. Oops. Ink pouring medium. Oh, I wonder if this is anything like the pouring mediums for paint pouring. I'm gonna have to test that theory out. I don't know. That'd be interesting to find out. I don't have a great deal of experience with these, but these are really nice if you're doing a paint pour, for example, and you just want to add a little bit more rich pigment, but you don't want to mess with the consistency too much. You can add just a couple drops of this, and it'll kind of make the pigment a little stronger. You can also use them as watercolor. There's a whole host of ways that you can use these, and I could not believe it when I saw these in the clearance section. I was like, what? So yeah, I'm pretty excited to start playing around with those. The other thing I got was this, and I know this is just something simple. I paid like $5 for these. Yeah. And I like it because it's a deep well. I had something similar to this, but it wasn't, the wells weren't as deep as these. These are really great if you're mixing up a larger amount of paint. These are fantastic for that. So I went ahead and picked up one of those. I got this. I absolutely love doing these. I'll take something like this, and I'll get just a simple board to put it on. I'll paint the board, then glue this down, and paint this up, and maybe paint around, you know, the board around it too a little bit more. It looks really, really cool. And these are pretty sturdy, as you can tell. They're not that oh, these are really nice. They have a lot of that stuff. Last couple things were I got this. Now, this actually cost me more than that ink set that I got. If you can believe that. But I just, it's like this might have been one of the most expensive things I got. It's like $15, but I like that it has this like sturdy little latches on the here. It has a handle, so I can just carry it wherever. And so if I'm going to the pool and I have like a little, it's like a little lap table that has like cushiony, foamy stuff on the underside of it, and then it's got the table part on top of that. I like to do stuff when I'm at the pool sometimes. But isn't that cool? Look at all these little dividers and whatnot. I kind of like that. It's pretty cool. It was definitely worth the money. It's a good bit of storage. I mean, you can just take that anywhere. Pretty cool. the last things that we have are Michael's. These are also some more things that I got at Michael's. I got these because I wanted to. Aren't these gorgeous? And you don't have to get a whole yard. I just got like maybe $3 worth of each of these roughly. Isn't that beautiful? This is going to be for that video to try and do that craft I was mentioning earlier about the cutting out the lace and then taping it to the vase. Or I might just leave some of it like this. I don't know. Isn't that gorgeous? I was like, oh, look at this. It's like just roughly around $3 for this. Isn't that gorgeous? I was like, ooh, it's so pretty. So, and they just got this kind of trim in. So, the other things I got were these. I have, push these out of the way. I have this kind of paint already, but the problem is that the paint that comes in the little jars, especially the metallic stuff, tends to run on the thin side. And when I'm doing the dots, I have to thicken it up, which again is a whole nother video I'm going to be doing. There's ways to thicken up that paint and things that you can do. But this paint it feels like it's a little bit thicker in the first place than the ones that come in the little jars. Y'all know the ones I'm talking about, right? This, I was kind of squeezing this. It's not heavy bodied, but it's definitely thicker than that. So I thought I would give this a try. And it's just the Artist Loft, which is like their brand. It's their store brand. Like Master's Touch is Hobby Lobby's store brand. So I got those thinking I'm going to try and see if I don't have to work so hard to get it thicker, or if I just want it to be a little bit runny but not super runny, then I can leave it alone. But if you want the big puffy dots like you saw there, you need to have a thicker paint or thicken it up. The other stuff that I got was this. This is one of the things that I'm going to talk about in the video that I'm going to do. And this is one of the ways you can thicken up your paint. And same with this, like a gloss varnish or gloss medium. That's a whole. This one's by Golden. This was by Liquitex. I can't speak. They're really good. So that's a whole nother video in and of itself. And this, I think I paid $5 for it, and it's a peach pink. I got this, and this is that Dowler Rowney brand I was talking about a minute ago. This is really good for if you want to do skin. This is an excellent, excellent color for that. Highly recommend this for a skin tone, like base. So, now the last thing I got was these. I saw these and I was like, ooh. This is kind of like in those bottles that the empty ones that I just showed you, but it's by Folk Art, and Folk Art is one of the brands that their metallics run kind of runny in their the regular jar containers or whatever. These would be super thick. So let's open this up and see. I'm gonna see. I'm kind of curious. Let's see if it's probably going to be sealed. It might not be though. Let's see. Oh, let's see. Yeah, see, it is sealed a little bit. There we go. See, you just pull that out, toss that aside. There we go. And that's what the paint looks like in this. As you can see, it seems pretty thick. It's also not nearly as full as I would like. Jeez, they really could have filled that up a lot more. That's a little disappointing. But I saw that and I was like, yeah. Oh, and it's sealed here too. Okay. Well, these can be used for many things. Okay. So. All right. Let's see how these work. Let's see how thick these are. They came up pretty easily. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. Now this is definitely dotting. That's the consistency you want if you're doing a puffy dot. You want something like that. But maybe a little thicker. It's thick, but maybe just a tad thicker. But that's close. That's pretty close. These are the things that I got from Hobby Lobby. This is an acrylic paint set from by their store brand, which is, as I mentioned earlier, is Master's Touch. $10, you guys. And you get 24 tubes of paint. I wanted to try these. And you can see that they have the little swatches on the back. Sometimes you can trust these and sometimes you can't. Hobby Lobby is dangerous to my pocketbook. They have just so many good things. But I wanted to try these because I wanted to see how thick the paint was. I've gotten their watercolor there and it's not bad, but I wanted to see how thick their paint was, to see if I wouldn't have to work so hard to thin down some of my other paints. But I mean, $10 for all of this. I mean, seriously, you cannot beat that. So if you're just playing around and you know, you're not doing a professional commission piece or something like that, I would highly recommend just getting something like this. So that way, if it doesn't turn out the way you want, you're not happy with it, you're only out your time and effort and $10, you know? So that's just something to consider. The other thing was these. $8, $8.50. I love these. These jelly rolls from they are my absolute favorite. I love them. And the Stardust, they're so sparkly, you guys. Like, I can't even. I'm gonna pull out my little scrap paper here to show you. I'm gonna open this because y'all deserve to see just how good these actually are. And it's the jelly roll, the original gel ink, not Sakura, which is a different thing, but they're archival, waterproof, chemical and fade resistant, bleed free, pH neutral, so forth. I mean, oh my gosh. And the ones that I go through a lot are the red ones, especially on Christmas time. Check this out, you guys. Isn't that cool? These are amazing, guys. I highly recommend the Stardust Jelly Rolls. My absolute favorite are the heavy-bodied paints that I got from Hobby Lobby, and they are absolutely awesome. I love this palette, by the way. It's my absolute favorite. I wish I could have found this color in one that wasn't pearlized, but I can tone that down. But I wanted to play around with thick body paint. I have never, I've never messed around with this kind of paint before, acrylic paint before. I do a lot of watercolor, but I wanted to try this and see how it would work out. And it's their generic brand. They're $7 for a nice big tube like this. which will last me probably forever and ever. You can take thick-bodied acrylic paint like this and add pouring medium to it. And the pouring medium doesn't have to be official pouring medium. You can also use something called Floetrol, which you can get at your local hardware store. You don't have to use the standard official pouring medium. The Floetrol actually works pretty well. I use that a lot in my pour art. But I wanted to try this and see how that worked versus having to thin it down or using something that's just a little bit thicker but not quite as thick as that. This is like between thin and that. It's like a medium consistency. But this is official thick body acrylic paint, which I will then mix with the pouring medium. And okay, I'm not gonna waste too much, but look at that. Whoa. Look at that. That is wild. Oh my God, you guys. Look, I'm going to put some of this back, but look at that peak on that. That is crazy. Did you see how beautiful and rich that was and how pigmented that was? And that's just their generic. I didn't want to spend the money for the name brand stuff, but since I was just kind of messing around, but this is actually pretty decent for $7 for a big old bottle. Or not bottle, tube. That's wild. Look at that's so how bright that is. That is wild. Yo. Yeah, I can't wait to have another go at that. Oh my gosh. I've never seen paint stand up like that and stay. That's crazy. Anyway, this is also another thing I got. I wanted to see how this would work when I was doing some really, really fine detailed areas. Look how thin that is. This is the kind you will have to thin out with like a really thin needle or something. You will actually have to use a very thin needle to clean that out. And I would highly recommend taking care of that, because I have a feeling that's going to clog up easy. It's like $1.29 for two of them. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed my little birthday haul. It was fun to show you, and I can't wait to dive into some of these things. It's going to be so much fun playing around with all this new stuff. So, but anyway, have a good one, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.